Hi everyone, it's Mark Merrill with Firm, Fairness in Reporting Media. Our journals today will be talking about gay marriage being overturned, possibly? Question mark. Does the United States Constitution, folks, and the Bill of Rights accept special privileges and freedoms since being ratified in 1792? Gee, Uncle Sam. Reference to the whole United States when we say that. I don't think so. Yeesh. When does it stop? Let's see real quick, folks, from our stellar and accurate pamphlet on this touchy subject, shall we? The First Amendment, as it is printed and written from December 1791, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble. Yeah, right. How many people can you think of right off the bat or just in recent 5 to 6 year history from 2025 backwards, violations of the law, and these people should be in prison for about 10 to 15 years as far as we're concerned at Firm. But also, this is what else the First Amendment provides under law of the Constitution. The right for the people to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Which brings us to where we are with the lady you see in front of you, folks. That's Allie Beth Stuckey. At one point, she was a member of Prager University. You recall Dennis Prager, still in operation. But Ms. Stuckey has got herself quite a reputation, a good reputation, upholding the Constitution, among other things, and talking about the differences between justice and any other kind of justice with an adverb or an adjective before it doesn't mean crap. We're going to get back to that one someday. But the article that Ms. Stuckey brings us, ladies and gentlemen, is the one that is talking about if gay marriage could possibly be on the chopping block, and it's the push to overturn a previous U.S. Supreme Court decision where former Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis asked the justices to revisit Obergefell versus Hodges that legalized same-sex marriage. Lovely. Well, Ms. Davis gained national attention, ladies and gentlemen, a decade ago for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples and was appealing a ruling that requires her to pay $360,000 in damages and legal fees to a couple she denied in 2015. She also argues that the First Amendment shields her from personal liability and is calling on the justices to overturn Obergefell. Her case could potentially be granted review, though it requires a number of justices to agree to hear it and a few more to overturn it. With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to Allie Beth Stuckey here. We will hear from right now in regard to the details of what could happen on the future of Obergefell versus Hodges that legalized the same-sex marriage. Here's part of that report.
Well, Kim Davis is going to try to bring this to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's decision to call for a response moves Davis's case into a group that could potentially be granted review, though it requires 4 justices to agree to hear it and 5 to overturn Obergefell. The case's outcome depends on whether at least 4 justices vote to hear it, and if a 5th would support overturning Obergefell, with a decision on review expected after the September 29, 2025 conference. Now, some people are saying it's just not possible because even the most conservative justices, they've got people in their lives that they don't want to upset, and they are thinking, how would this decision upset the ordering of millions of people's lives. And you might be thinking they shouldn't think that at all. They should only be thinking constitutionally, and whatever happens, happens. But they're human beings. They're people, and a lot of them certainly don't have the same convictions that we do, even the conservative ones. And so they might be thinking, okay, maybe we'll decide on this in a very narrow way, or no, we just don't want to take this up because this is just not an issue that we want to champion right now. So we'll see. If the court does agree to hear the case, oral arguments could occur late 2025 or early 2026. Now, what happens? It doesn't mean that same-sex marriage will be banned. It's the same kind of thing as what happened after Roe v. Wade. The overturning of Roe v. Wade, the Dobbs decision that happened in 2022 didn't ban abortion. It just allowed states to more heavily regulate abortion. And that's the same thing that would happen here. So if the state of Texas or if the state of Tennessee wanted to say we only recognize the marriage between a man and a woman, they could do that. Now, would that render null and void everyone who has been married in the state of Tennessee, 2 men or 2 women who have gotten a marriage license from the state? Probably not. I don't think so, and I don't think that there would be any restriction at all on how gay people are able to order their lives, except for the fact that they won't be recognized as married in some states who want that, and it'll have to go through the legislature and all of that, state legislatures and all of that. So it's, even if it happens, it wouldn't change a whole lot right away, but it would be a step in the right direction to protect the definition of marriage and the rights of children. You guys know the 5 R's that we've talked about a lot. As a Christian, no matter where you are politically on this, as a Christian, it's not up for debate. It's not up for debate. There are some things that are up for debate that we can debate in good faith. This is not one of them. It's not just about a couple verses in Leviticus. It'd be okay if it were, but it's not. We've got our 5 R's. The definition of marriage is between a man and a woman is rooted in creation. It's reiterated throughout Scripture. It's repeated by Jesus himself in Matthew 19:4-5. It's representative of Christ in the church in Ephesians 5, and therefore it is reflective of the gospel. The Bible starts with the marriage and ends with the marriage. Actually, time starts with a marriage and ends with a marriage. The marriage between Adam and Eve in Genesis, and then the marriage between Christ and his church in Revelation. And that marriage on earth is that representation of the marriage between Christ and the church, Christ being the groom and the church being the bride. And because of that, those gender distinctions are fixed. They are immutable. 2 men can't represent Christ in the church. 2 women can't represent Christ in the church. And that is what earthly marriage is supposed to be, a reflection of that.
That's pretty much it, folks, right there. Very well put together by Allie Beth Stuckey, who is an independent reporter, but she also does reports for Blaze, Glenn Beck's organization, and she has a regular podcast. We'll certainly will look up a website for her and pass that along to you. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, we here at Firm are going to review some statements on gay marriage and the ongoing back and forth hassle of transgender rights, and the destruction of biological boys and girls. Jeez, getting tired of this stuff, folks. But we do have to go on with it. And as we do, as you see, we've already done that with the First Amendment, gone through that. They want grievances and they want to redress the government and make changes about it. Well, by all means, go for it. The problem is, with you transgender supporters, LGBTQ and GLAD all over the damn place, screaming and yelling at us, this is the problem. Sex is binary. There is no such thing as 5,000 genders or even 57. Morons. Science proves it, what it says up there. Now I've got a couple of other people who are be quite interesting to talk about here, folks, as we move on Firm here. Gay marriage being overturned, possibly? We'll see. These are 2 of the victims of the transgender movement that started several years ago. The gentleman right here is Chris Elston, posing with, you probably know who Chloe Cole is by now. She herself went under transition surgery before rejecting transgenderism and embracing her biological womanhood again. Their signs read Chris. The gentleman has the word dad, saying it's a noun. A human male who protects his kids from gender ideology. With his website, and we'll certainly pass that one on to you too, folks, so you can support his cause. BillboardChris.com. And Chloe's, a little bit larger letters, but we can certainly tell you what it is, folks. Hers says children cannot consent to puberty blockers. No, not going to happen. Ever. At least they shouldn't. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we end this program, this quick segment on firm journals, all about the fact that possibility that gay marriage was put through by a Supreme Court ruling in 2015 could be overturned. You heard from Allie Beth Stuckey. As for everyone out there in media land, TV land, and those of you who get your podcasts for news mostly, smart thing to do, check us out all the time, folks, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at FIRM, Fairness in Reporting Media, on X.com, YouTube.com, and right here, Fairness in Reporting Media at gmail.com, Fairness in Reporting Media at gmail.com. We welcome your thoughts and comments, folks, and suggestions or topics for an idea that we haven't thought about promoting that may be important in your neighborhood or state. In the meantime, everybody stay safe and peace to all.